Adebayo's dilemmas. Adebayo sat in silence, his mind torn between duty and desire. He had been given an opportunity to prove himself, but at what cost? He knew the truth. If he went against the family, they would destroy everything he built before he even had the chance to stand on his own. His dream of being independent felt more distant than ever. The clock is ticking, he thought, gripping the file in his hands. I have to complete this task, then use it as leverage to talk to Papa about my own path. If I succeed, maybe, just maybe, I can finally break free. With that, he took a deep breath and headed to the KT building. The KT, Key Task Force, was a group of highly skilled operatives, a ruthless and elite security team controlled by the Aikindale family for generations. They weren't just bodyguards or hired thugs like those used by other politicians. They were strategists, enforcers, and problem solvers. Most people feared the faces of the Aikindale family that the world recognized. But those who truly understood power knew that it was the Kati who kept the family understood. The team consisted of family members who chose to live in secrecy, along with carefully selected allies, military officers, intelligence agents, and individuals with brilliant strategic minds. They handled political threats, betrayals, and disputes, making problems disappear without a trace. And now, Adebayo was walking straight into their world. The moment Adebayo stepped inside, a voice greeted him with mocking amusement. I thought you had no interest in politics, Adebayo. So what are you doing in the KT building? Adebayo looked up and immediately felt his blood boil. It was Modafe, his least favorite cousin. Modafe was a high-ranking member of the KT, known for being ruthless and unforgiving. Even as a child, he had been merciless, always seeking control and dominance. Modafe's father, Ashen Akindale, Papa's elder brother, had once led the KT with an iron fist. But after a near-fatal A that silent left him confined to a wheelchair, Modafe had risen through the ranks, eager to carry on his father's legacy. Everyone in the family knew the truth. The KT, not the politicians, were the real power behind the Akindale name. Adebayo met Modafe's gaze and smirked. What can I say? Maybe you just missed my face. Modafe scoffed, about to respond when a deep, commanding voice cut through the room. Settle down, boys. Adebayo turned to see Ashen Akindale rolling into the room, his presence still as intimidating as ever. Rumors about Ashen were legendary. They said he couldn't count the number of people he had assassinated, the accidents he had staged, or the betrayals he had silenced. Even in his wheelchair, he was a force no one dared to challenge. And now, his sharp eyes were locked onto Adebayo. Ashen's voice was steady, filled with calculated authority. Let's get to the matter at hand. Modafe leaned forward, his tone laced with anticipation. Can't we just get rid of the man? I can make it look like an accident. No trace, no loose ends. Ashen nodded slightly, considering the option. We could, but we have to be careful. The public already knows about the feud between us, the party and him. We can't afford a scandal that could damage Ado's campaign. He turned his gaze toward Adebayo. I hope You have a better plan. Adebayo squared his shoulders, forcing confidence into his voice. We don't know how much information Dr. Adedotun has, or what secrets he's already passed to the NNC. But by studying his moves and connections, there are ways to neutralize him without making it obvious that we're involved. Ashon nodded approvingly. Good. Move quickly. This needs to be handled before it escalates. Adebayo exhaled, knowing he had just sealed his fate deeper into the family affairs. We'll deal with this tomorrow before 10 a.m., he said. We'll get final confirmation from the family council before we make our move. Modefe raised an eyebrow. We? Adebayo met his cousin's smug expression head on. You and I. We don't need extra hands. The fewer people involved, the better. This has to be discreet. Modefe chuckled, his eyes glinting with amusement. I knew you still had it in you, Adebayo. Ashon leaned back in his wheelchair, studying his nephew. You didn't need anyone's help back in school when problems arose. Unlike some fools here who created more chaos than they solved, he added, his cold gaze shifted toward Modefe. Modefe tensed but said nothing, clearly used to his father's harsh criticisms. Ashon turned back to Adebayo, his expression unreadable. Let me see what's inside the genius legal mind of yours, and keep this fool in check. With that, he wheeled himself out, leaving the two cousins alone in the war room. Modefe let out a slow chuckle, shaking his head. Seems like the one who wanted to be clean is now knee-deep in family affairs. He smirked. Tell me, Adebayo, do you really think that after this mission, the council will just let you walk away? Adebayo remained silent, the weight of Modefe's words sinking in. Modefe's smirk deepened. Even if Ado supports you, the council has the final say. Don't fool yourself into thinking everyone is on your side. Power and ambition fuel this family, and you should know by now, once you prove yourself valuable, they'll never let you go. Adebayo's stomach twisted. Is there really a way out? He wondered. Modefe leaned in, lowering his voice. That's not for me to decide, but you should think about it. The only way to leave this life is through death, or through power. If you play smart, you could become a KM, key member, and work in the shadows, a silent strategist with more control than anyone else. He smirked again. But first, let's see what your brilliant legal mind can do. Adebayo clenched his fists, pushing down the growing dread inside him. With a determined heart, he followed Modefe, ready to execute the plan. What happens next? Adebayo has taken his first real step into the world he swore to avoid. But now, the stakes are higher than ever. Can he stop Dr. Adedotun before it's too late? Will the family ever let him go? Or is he slowly becoming the very thing he feared? The deeper he goes, the harder it is to escape. Find out in the next episode of The Legacy I Refuse.